am Danielle, and one of my goals this year is to fill my pantry up with delicious food that I grow in my backyard. Today we're going to be preserving my carrots that I harvested not too long ago 2 different ways, and one of the ways is going to be pressure canned and another way is vacuum sealed. So stay tuned to see how I do all this. So you're probably wondering why the heck I got a big 5-gallon bucket on my counter for. Because I have a 1-year-old and I know she's going to get in here eventually and she'll have a blast making such a mess in this kitchen with this water bucket. But my carrots, when I harvested them, I just gave them a quick rinse and then threw them in Ziplocs and threw them in the fridge. These are storage carrots. They would last a long time that way, but I want them preserved in a way that's more convenient for me just to get them ready and get them in the oven and cooking. So one of the ways I'm going to do that is vacuum sealing. I'm going to be using these carrots for like roast. So my plan is to wash them really well, peel them, chop them into shapes that I'm going to use for roast, and vacuum seal them so I can just open that bag up and dump them in my roast pan and they'll be ready to eat after they cook. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to get my carrots washed up and then I'll get them peeled and chopped and we'll get going. So because I don't want all this dirt going down my drain, I'm just going to give them a very good wash in this bucket of water here. Drop them in this pan. I'm going to be peeling these anyway, so you just want to get most of the dirt off of them. I told my son to grab a bag of my big carrots. He bought me the biggest bag of carrots. These are not all giants, but they'll be perfect for cooking and roast. Right, we are now going to start working on chopping all these carrots. I'm going to cut the ends off. And then on the bigger ones, I'm going to cut them in half and then quarter them. And then kind of just about 1 inch long pieces. And that's how we like them in our roast. And then the little ones, I'm going to cut them in half. And then just cut them in half again. Alright, and that's how I'm going to do all these carrots. Alright, today we're going to be vacuum sealing our carrots that we have prepped. Because my roll is so big, it won't fit in here with my bag cutter, so I'm just going to do it with scissors. I'm going to measure out about how much I need. Now we're going to seal one end of it. And we're going to let it dry a little bit. It's pretty warm from the seal. I'm going to split these in half. We use a lot of carrots. Not only do we use these for roast, we use these for whole chickens. We like to roast a whole chicken with potatoes and carrots and garlic. So we'll do half and half. And I'm probably going to process the rest of the carrots this way. We have 2 more gallon bags outside. And then I have a bunch of little carrots and gallon bags in the freezer just to toss into broth, which I'll be making very soon. And I'm going to be pressure canning that broth because I'm trying to free up freezer space because we have exciting plans very soon for our freezer space, which is going to make meal planning very, very, very easy and less stressful. I'll make a video about all that soon too. That's about half. It's a lot of carrots, but it's our main meal when we do it. Carrots, potatoes, and the side dishes. So now we're going to seal it. Alright, we're going to put it in here. And now we wait for the red light to go off. Alright, so that's 2 bags of vacuum sealed carrots that we can throw in our roast and our whole chickens when we cook them up. Prepped and ready to go. Alright, so today we're pressure canning our carrots. This is our second way that we're preserving it. I filled my jars up in about 1 inch head space and I did good chunks. You can leave your carrots whole, slice them, or dice them. I'm leaving them pretty chunky because I don't want them to be completely mush at the end of this process. of pressure canning. But I'm going to use these like for a side dish. I'm going to take them, drain the juice out of them, and then dump them in a hot cast iron pan with butter and season them up, and they're really delicious. So this is going to be side dishes for us for our meals. So right now I got my pressure canning warming up. I'm going to cut that heat up since I just have it hot for right now. I got hot water that was just boiling. I'm going to pour them into my clean jars with my carrots, and then we're going to put our lids on, put them in there, and bring our pressure pot up to pressure. We're going to take our hot water and put it in these jars. Leave an inch ahead space. I'm not seasoning these carrots with anything. I've tried it with salt before. My husband did not care for them too much. Put hot water in these jars. I'm going to debubble them. Hopefully we got room for our last jar. So what I'm doing here is I'm debubbling our carrots. And then you take a clean rag, go around your rim, and then put your lid on. My pressure canner is almost over here boiling. You don't want your jars touching the sides of your canner or each other, because you want plenty of room for the water to circulate around the jars. So we got our canner lid on. We got our gauge where we can see it. This is our gauge. This is where it vents, and this is where we put our weight at. And this tells us it's sealed and has enough pressure to go. So what we do is we let this vent right here for 10 minutes. And after it vents for 10 minutes, we put this on. Then we wait for this to pop up to say it's fully sealed and ready to go. And we wait till we're up to pressure with 11 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes. So when that gets to 11, this is popped up and it's ready to go. We'll set our timer for 25 minutes, but not until then. Okay, we've been venting for 10 minutes now. We want to put our pressure gauge on. This is hot, so I don't want to burn my hand, so now we put that on. And we're going to wait till this comes up to 11 pounds per pressure of pressure. This being up means it's locked and ready to go. Now we're just waiting for that pressure to start building up in there. This is when you need to keep your eye on it. You can go over 11 and be okay. You just don't want to get too high, because then you're risking, very bad things going on in your kitchen. If you go below 11, that's when you're going to be in more trouble also, because that means you're going to have to bring your pressure canner back up to pressure and restart the time on your timer for your pressure canning time. These take 25 minutes. I'm going to keep it at 11 as close as possible. Going over a little bit, fine. Going under, not okay. So let's babysit this canner for 25 minutes. Okay, I'm at 11 pounds per pressure. I'm going to keep my eye on this pressure canner. You do not want your pressure to drop below 11 pounds per pressure in my elevation. If it drops below 11 pounds per pressure, you have to bring your pressure canner back up to pressure and then restart your timer all the way. I'm at 11 pounds. I'm setting it for 25. I'm going to keep my eye on it. If it goes over, that's fine. You just do not want to go under. But you also don't want to go too high, because then you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? You don't want to know what's going to happen. Let's just keep an eye on it and keep it at that 11 pounds per pressure, or around about. Okay, I am at 13 pounds per pressure and still rising. I'm going to drop it just a little bit more. We're at 14. I just don't want it to drop too much. I'm slowly dropping my temperature, keeping an eye on that pressure. We're at 14 now, steady at 15 pounds, which is an okay temperature. It's not too high, and it's definitely not lower than 11, which is what we don't want. As long as we're holding a good temperature, we're good. I just don't want it to keep continuing rising. I want it to hold a steady pressure. That weight moving there reminds me of my granny's pressure canner, which I didn't know what it was back then. I think she probably had a pressure cooker, because she cooked or boiled peanuts in it. And I remember that thing just rattling. So we got 19 and a half more minutes to go. Alright, our timer just went off. What we do now is we turn our stove off and remove this off the burner. I do not like this part. I moved it to the back burner. Woo, I do not like that part. I usually get my husband to do that. But it says turn your burner off and put it on the back burner. And now we're going to let it come all the way down from pressure. Do not go by the pressure gauge. You need to wait until this completely drops. And then after the pressure is at 0 and this is dropped, then you take this out. If there's no steam coming from there, you can open your can. Then you will let it cool for 10 minutes with your lid ajar. This means that your jars will not be exposed to this much cooler air outside than it is in the canner. Because when it is, it can cause siphoning and it can cause your jars to crack. Siphoning is when the liquids of your jars will come out from the rapid temperature difference. So what we're going to do is now let everything drop and we'll check on them when they're done. And we'll look at our jars of carrots because I'm excited. 8 pints of carrots. I took my lid off and propped it up here and it's been sitting here for 10 minutes. Which kind of lets my jars get acclimated to the outside temperature. So now we're going to take our jars out. And if you notice, my jar lifters here are missing the plastic pieces. This is how you know that someone used the wrong end of the lifters to get the jars out. These popped right off after I put them in really hot water. You use the rubber ends or the silicone ends to get your jars out, not the plastic pieces. So here we go. Let's see what our jars look like. Okay, I'm gonna have to slide my canner forward so I don't hit the stove top here. Oh, perfect. And I'm gonna sit them out on here. You don't want to tilt your jars. I'm going to let them straight up, straight down. No tilting. Alright, so it's 8 pints of canned carrots ready to eat. And when they seal, you want to let them sit for at least 12 hours. After that 12 hours, if they're all not sealed, you can go to 24. But after 24, if they're not sealed, you're going to have to reprocess them or just put them in the refrigerator. I would just put them in the refrigerator at that point. But at 12 hours, I'm going to check them all to make sure they're sealed, and then I'll write the date on them, and then we'll put them on our pantry shelves. So this is 8 pints of carrots going on our pantry. And so stay tuned to Danielle's Backyard, seeing more food being harvested and preserved.